of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl, Josh, and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
Switch to the screen. There we go.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing today? How we feeling?
What's going on, fam?
How we doing?
How's it going, Zen? Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice nap.
Yeah, clearly, they're a fan.
Yeah, it's nap time.
Yeah, I get it. It should be my nap time too. It's fine. Yeah, welcome to another Tokudon. Today we got some things we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the infamous dark horse of the franchise, Godzilla 98.
That was fun. Oh my god.
Yep,
that was fun.
it's something. And then we are also going to be talking about something a little new. We're going to be highlighting some toku that we found that we think is worth shouting out and want to check out and just kind of piques our interest.
Yes.
And kind of just talk about it a little bit and introduce it to each other. So,
Yes.
And on top of that, we got our usual news and all that kind of thing. So we'll get into it. So let's start with, what have you been up to, man?
It'll be our thing, man. Dude, I literally spent all morning not only just listening to the Big G in the background. I went like headlong back into this Anzen thing, and I finally cranked out like the full, like all three arcs, so to speak. I don't know if I want to do like the 50 episode spiel, but I mean, especially if we could, especially if we could tell the story like Amazon style with like 6 or 7, you know, like. But all in all, I went and finalized like the whole layout of how it's gonna play out, and I'm like, finally. Finally, now I can actually start like the dialogue. And now the whole time I'm like writing, I'm like, okay, so like I need like this guy to sound like this, and I need another character to be that dude, and I'm just plopping in dudes. Like all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I have like 1 million people and 1 million friends that probably want to touch in on this, so let's update everybody, and then we'll go from there.
That's the idea.
That's all I was doing.
Yeah.
All damn day.
Good.
Yes. How about you, my boy?
I checked out a little series that may be kind of toku. It's called Book of Boba Fett.
I've heard of such a thing.
Yeah. It's boring.
Yeah. Interesting little story.
It's extremely boring in my opinion. And
I don't know where they're gonna like ultimately go with it. I thought we were gonna get like all the bounty hunters, but we got a knockoff Sentai squad.
So I am on episode 3. I don't know as of this recording if there's a 4th episode yet. I don't think so. But I watched the first 3 episodes. The second episode was great. The second episode is when he's with a bunch of Tusken Raiders. I'm going to do a little spoiler talk just so everyone.
Yeah. Spoilers all over the place for us.
So if you haven't seen it yet or don't want to, just mute it for a few minutes. They go into some like lore of the Tusken Raiders, which are always kind of interesting. You know, they're the Tatooine, like classics.
Yeah.
You know, if anyone's not familiar. And, you know, he spends some time with them and learns some of their culture and techniques and stuff. And it was actually really fascinating. And then they get to this 3rd episode, and it's like they just backtrack on anything, like any not bored will that they developed at that point.
I mean, they did the whole like, let's just off them all and write them out so that way. Yeah,
and they were like the best part of the show. Like I didn't really care what was going on. It was like a daimyo.
It seemed like a waste of an opportunity because like you had this impact that he made on these people.
Yeah.
And it could have implied a progression for them going forward. And imagine the impact that it would have had more, unless they, you know, do a callback to it, which I doubt. But imagine the impact the Legend of Boba Fett would be if they didn't die and they just continued his teaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, I agree. Like they're biffing it a bit. I just don't know where they're gonna go with it. Like it's just gonna be a bounty hunter war. Like why that?
I mean,
it's like
my feelings on Boba Fett have always been this dude's freaking overrated. Everyone tries to tell me how cool he is and this, that, and the other. But like, the dude hasn't done shit canonically. So I could make the coolest character ever, but if it's all fan fiction, it doesn't matter. And don't try and tell me it was not fan fiction until, you know, Disney deleted it, because it was basically all fan fiction. So,
well, everything in the extended universe has been kind of chopped up. So, I mean, I don't know what really counts anymore, but in terms of what we've seen, the most badass he was in a whole different show.
I just, yeah, you know? Like, I don't like Boba Fett. I really don't. And I don't get the appeal, because again, I understand there was the side stories and stuff where he did a bunch of cool stuff, but like essentially none of it was canon. So it's like, okay, cool. I could make Broly Super Saiyan 4.
I don't find Wookiees intimidating, like, at all. Like, I think they're just tall, hairy trees. Like, I'm okay. But apparently that black one, Black Kirsten, is that what they're calling him? Black Kirsten?
Black
Kirsten?
K. I don't know.
Black K, whatever his name is. I don't get the appeal. Like, he literally fell in the Rancor pit, like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I don't care about Boba Fett, honestly. I would much rather have had season 3 of Mandalorian before this, the way it's been going. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. Go watch it. You guys can form your own opinions. But again, I've always found Boba Fett extremely overrated. So
fair enough. Fair.
You're behind the Disney Plus stuff. I was, and then I just started catching up. So yeah.
But did you like the whole Super Sentai squad that he made? The cyborg.
So Peacemaker mentions there is no canon or not canon. There are levels to canonicity with Star Wars, and that is. Ooh, and this is not nice towards you, Peacemaker. This is a general at that fandom. That is the dumbest thing. It's kind of canon, but not really.
I mean, look, because we have a tendency to lore dive. I lore dive to the Star Wars extended stuff and all the mythos and the wills and all that crap that was like bananas. Yep. And I'm like, okay.
Did you enjoy your Star Wars Dragon Ball Heroes? Did you enjoy it?
I don't mind if your canonicity extends to like the cosmic level of the Force, but then like it just seems like there's so much backfooting anymore that they have no idea what even to do with it.
I don't know. Like, I love Star Wars. I do. I'm shitting on it, but I do very much enjoy that universe. I mean, piece to piece, you know, I judge them by themselves, not necessarily Star Wars as a whole. I just like, I love that universe. It's just, this is very like meh.
Yeah. Well, but we'll see where it goes. The huts seem to be like, you know, an interesting little element that could be a bigger thing. Like, I'd like to see a whole clan of the Hutts be like, yep, it's time to go to war.
Yeah, I'm trying to go to Hutta or whatever the planet's called. Yeah, like, I'm trying to go there.
Hutta. Yeah, Pizza Hutta.
Yeah. Other than that, I also watched. I had like a Marvel week, kind of.
Okay. I respect that.
I also watched Eternals because that's now streaming. It was fine.
I didn't get to that yet. Is that even worth me putting 2 hours down for that?
The stuff they set up is pretty cool. Like, they got some cool ideas in there. It's the most middle of the road Marvel movie I've ever seen.
That's like horrible.
No, it's not. We're not talking like Thor: Dark World kind of thing. It's just like it's a Phase 1 movie with the flair of a Phase 3 movie. Like, I don't know. I just
there's
don't know
no
how
character
to describe
development. I understand that.
Like, it has an energy of Phase 1, but like it has the scale and effects and everything of Phase 3. So like
they're implied to be that level powerful. Yeah, it's weird to have those. Yeah,
with the Celestials they introduce, and like Null is a very cool character they've introduced, who is the original symbiote, the creator of the symbiotes.
Null is in this.
No, he's not in it. But they introduced the Celestials, and Null is born from the head of a dead Celestial.
Yeah.
So, and then that kind of ties into Venom and all that stuff. I don't know if they're going to go that far. They'd have to do a lot of crossovers at this point. But I also haven't seen No Way Home or whatever the new one is. So maybe they kind of build that. Obviously, there's some crossover in the universes with Multiverse of Madness and what happened in Loki, all this kind of stuff.
It's just they're going to keep going with it, and whether we get it or not, they're definitely the one thing that you have to put out of your head is they're not going to be the comic representations at all. They're not going to be anywhere near that level. So
and I'm
whatever
fine with...
we're going to get,
go
ahead. Whatever we're going to get is going to be disappointing in a couple measures, no matter what. So I get it. I just didn't think that. I just think 2 hours is a long time to dedicate to boring characters. You know what I mean?
Honestly, Peacemaker just referred to it as Marvel's Justice League. Yes, it is very much Marvel's Justice League. There's literally a Superman. They make the joke in the movie as well that he's just Superman.
Icarus, right? He's basically just the Superman.
He's literally Superman. He flies. He's super strong. He shoots lasers out of his eyes. He's literally Superman. And one of the other characters' kid actually calls him out on it. It's kind of funny. He's like, you're Superman. You wear a cape. He's like, no, I don't wear a cape. But they do some really cool stuff. And the most interesting part is they were placed here to develop humanity, right? So like the history aspect of these characters is the most interesting part of the movie. So seeing how like they were in Mesopotamia, they were in Babylonia, all this kind of stuff, and how they are responsible for the myths and legends and tweaking it. Like Angelina Jolie's character is literally Athena, and like her name's Thena, but throughout history it's become Athena. They derived it from Athens to become and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But like her ability is to just create energy weapons. Like she creates a sword and shield, she turns it into a spear, she turns it into twin daggers. It's a really cool effect. I don't care about Angelina Jolie, honestly. Like I feel no way about her whatsoever. But like her ability was super cool. And there's stuff like that and like the lore part of them that I was like, okay, this is sick. I'm here for this. And then like more of the not lore starts getting into the movie. There's still some backstory and stuff, but they kind of like give you the broad strokes, so they just kind of go into what's happening now. And that's when I kind of like was just like, okay, I'm like half on my phone, half paying attention.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple after credit scenes that set up some cool stuff, so we'll see. I won't spoil that one as much because that's a one spoiler.
Well,
but
thanks. I mean, I get it. I don't know enough about the Eternals to.
I didn't know anything.
The
about
Celestials I know are supposed to be ungodly, and are they at least in the ballpark?
Oh yeah, no, they're monsters. So just sheer scale, the entire plot of the movie is actually I'm not going to talk about that part because that's pretty integral to the movie. So if you want, this one just came out within a week. That's why I'm a little more hesitant about the spoilers on this one.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But yes, on the scale, like one shows up and it's like towering over Earth kind of thing, and it's. He's millions and millions of miles away, like closer to the sun, and he's still towering over the earth. So he's huge.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's huge. You're a speck to him.
Fine.
It's from the guy who made New God stuff for DC. Interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. So he's a DC guy. So that it feels kind of like a DC movie. So
Kirby? Didn't Jack Kirby make the New Gods?
I have no idea. But it does very much feel like a DC movie because I know, again, it's kind of just the Justice League. But it does feel sort of more of a DC movie than it does a Marvel movie. But like Marvel being like, hey, we can make your movie but better kind of thing.
So, we can do what you do.
Yeah.
We do that.
It is what it is. Check it out. Check it out. It's at least worth like a once watch kind of thing.
I definitely will. I'm just between deciding which to dedicate the time to, because I really want to rewatch the Spider-Verse before this new one comes out.
Great choice.
Because I mean I've tried to watch it and it's so dope, but like every time life gets in the way and I just like either get distracted or get pulled away, but I've never finished it fully through one go.
Oh wow.
I've either watched half and half. But I mean I've seen it, it's just never completely through. So I do definitely want to watch it again and absorb it all, because
I'm super excited for the second one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the next one they're saying is going to be done in different mediums, or there's going to be different styles.
Well, there was
when
in
they
this
go to
one
different
too.
Universes.
Yeah.
So like
the characters are all animated. I think we talked about it when this movie first came out. The characters are all completely animated differently.
Yeah.
Like Gwen runs at 60 frames a second. Noir is 24 and black and white, obviously. Stuff like that, like lit differently.
I hope it's more of that and more and then some. You know, let's see what
the world itself. I'm sure will change. So
but in terms of excitement, I'd rather put the time into rewatching the Spider-Verse than an Eternals movie that I'm probably going to forget in a day or two.
Yeah, I already forgot 90% of what happened. I watched it yesterday. So, yeah exactly. I get it.
Just like Big G. I literally just watched it today. And I'm like,
G.
What just happened?
Oh,
what happened?
Man. So,
Did I just spend 2 hours watching this?
We'll do that first. We'll do the highlights later. It's fine. Yeah. Because we already transitioned into it. Oh, my God. This movie. So, we're talking about Roland Emmerich's 1998 Godzilla.
Masterpiece. His pièce de résistance.
Jean Reno's resistance.
Oh my God. Jean Reno is the shit. I remember how much I loved him in this movie.
I remember the only thing I knew him from when he was in Onimusha 3 was this movie.
That's fair.
Literally
I had
the only
Leon.
thing.
I had Leon, but I didn't know enough about Leon because I was obsessed with this movie when it came out. This Big G movie, this Godzilla 98, was like amazing to me though at the time, and I didn't want to rob myself of that excitement when I put it on, because I was like, wow, I still kind of feel that connection to it. And then as the movie started playing, I'm like, I don't feel that anymore. No, I don't like this movie anymore. Like, it really is a whole different movie as an adult. Whole different movie.
Absolutely is, because I was in the same boat. Like, so I found out, I think I told you recently, I found out that my true introduction to Godzilla was the Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yes.
So that was my true introduction. I was apparently super into the cartoon, and then the movie started coming on Sci-Fi or whatever channel was on, the Saturday morning movies started coming on there. And then that's when it kind of evolved. So when this was coming out, I was super excited. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. New Godzilla. I'm going to see it for the first time and experience it. And I was I didn't know the word mediocre at that time, but it was mediocre. I felt mediocre in my soul. And Peacemaker saying the story of how this Godzilla movie came to be is more interesting than the movie itself. And it absolutely is. And that's what I'm going to focus on today.
That's what I want to know, because I dove a little bit into what the sequel was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm interested in that. But do tell me about this one, because let's just give a quick breakdown before we get into the back stuff here.
Well, so the blurb on Wikipedia, let me just read this real quick, and then you can do the plot part. So 1998 American Godzilla film co-written by Roland Emmerich and some other dude that no one cares about. A reimagining of Toho's Godzilla franchise, the 23rd film in the franchise, the first Godzilla film to be completely produced by a Hollywood studio. The film stars Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, Maria Pitillo, Hank Azaria, Kevin Dunn, Michael Lerner, and Harry Scherer. The film is dedicated to Tomoyuki Tanaka. That is unfortunate. The co-creator and producer of various Godzilla films, who died in April 1997. In the film, authorities investigate and battle a giant monster who migrates to New York City to nest its young.
Yes.
That's the blurb on it.
And that is the blurb, and that is pretty much it. Like,
that's as deep as it gets, folks.
Everything else that happens in between that is so manufactured nonsense that literally that should have been the plot. Everything else they pump into that is literally just because they paid these actors for the roles, and they paid Matthew Broderick to have him on the screen. Otherwise, you eliminate all of his BS scenes and do the traditional scientist in a lab for like half the movie. It's the same effect. So like, but I mean, honestly, let's go back, because the one thing that I didn't even like as a kid was the nuclear creation of this Godzilla. Okay. And it's very heavily implied in the beginning that it's the nuclear testing that they're doing off some kind of French coast. I forget what it was, some French island. Yeah. And then essentially this Godzilla is in a mutated iguana.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was it for me. That's really where I was like, that's okay. We'll go with it. No, I hate it.
Yeah. So the original, as you know, is essentially like the 1954 Godzilla. When I say original, the 1954 Godzilla is essentially a propaganda film, for anyone who doesn't know, for the nuclear holocaust. I should say Holocaust, nuclear attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was the entire point of it. It was essentially a propaganda film against this violence, against this war, what happened to them. And the atomic part is the only true thing to the original Godzilla that this movie kept. Because
literally
Roland Emmerich literally said, I don't like this. And he still made the movie. He
didn't like the original Genesis?
He didn't like Godzilla, essentially. So to backtrack a little more,
that hurts.
There was originally a script done in 1994. And had a completely different backstory. It's by completely different writers. It was essentially Godzilla being tied to Atlantis and all this kind of stuff. And he eventually fought another monster called, it was like a hippogriff or a griffith or something like that.
Okay.
It was a giant like lizard bat thing, kind of like the Muto, but more tiger looking.
Okay.
And eventually Roland Emmerich got involved and his crew, and he literally says, I don't like when two monsters are fighting.
What?
He doesn't like that.
Then he doesn't like Godzilla. That's right.
It.
What?
Like, why is this man making this movie if he just doesn't like Godzilla? Like, and I understand he probably saw like 1984 Godzilla or the one originally. Yeah, it gets so much worse. Don't worry. So he probably saw one of those original ones as we're like, oh, you know, political piece. Blah, 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 blah. This is the same dude who did 2012. He did Geostorm. He did 10,000 BC. He did all these shit ass like Force of Nature movies. And like,
so great.
They were so good. So good. I don't know how this. Him and U-Bowl, I don't understand how they keep getting business. I don't understand.
Ooh. Okay. We'll
Did I trigger you a little bit? Is that what
every time I hear his whole legacy is based on lies. Anyway, all right.
But he'll fight you if you say his movie's bad. Literally, he'll be like, "Let's step in the boxing ring. It's great.
Let's go, bro."
Your tax write-offs. That's exactly why. Yep. So, oh my goodness. So yeah, This dude straight up says, "I hate Godzilla. I'm not making a Godzilla movie with Godzilla's franchise." And Toho was like, What the hell?
I don't know what pisses me off more. The fact that Roland Emmerich says that, and then he at least had the decency to completely bastardize Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And then the other writer for the show that we watched before, the 0 Point, Single Point, whatever it was. Yeah. That asshole who just completely disagreed with everything about the kaiju. It was
like math, though.
Like, I don't know which pisses me off more. Oh my god.
My thing is just like, if you're gonna have someone, and I think Toho felt this. I feel like they just didn't know TriStar was doing all this. I feel like if you're gonna have someone take your beloved franchise, maybe don't hand it to some asshole who's like, yeah, you know,
this whole thing that you built your legacy on.
Yeah,
whatever.
And it's, oh my god. So they eventually, the original design for Godzilla, or the idea they had for Godzilla, was more of an adapted version of what we would see from Toho. Right. They brought in the guy who did the monster designs for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, wow.
He is the one who designed Godzilla 98.
That makes
the same
sense.
person
that
who did
Yoshi. He just took the Yoshi and he just scaled it and put some spikes on it. It makes so much sense now.
And the Lizard Men Koopa Troopers, same thing, same dude. And his quote, as I understand, was, "I don't like to adapt other people's art. I think that's disrespectful. On a level, I can get that. On a certain level, I can get that."
Art?
So he didn't want to take someone else's design and adapt it and make his own completely original one. And it's that second half where it's like, you can just say you don't like it. You could just say it.
You could say the same thing as your bullshit director and we'd have had the equal amount of respect for your ass.
Yeah, like you could have just straight up said, "Hey, I don't like this design. I want to do my own." And I would have been like, "Okay, it sucks, but I get it. You want to do your thing. You can't really, whatever." This dude was like, I don't like to adapt other people's art.
Am I right to assume that they got the green light for this design though? Like they had to have at some point.
So at the meeting, and most of this information, by the way, if anyone is listening to this, comes from Matt McMuscle's What Happened.
Okay.
So he covered, he did a lot of this research. Okay. He does a video on Godzilla 98. And apparently the way this meeting went was they stared quietly at the design for a few minutes and then asked them to come back tomorrow.
That's traditional Japanese. They're like, oh boy.
Oh no. And the quote from like the executive producer and the head of the studio was pretty much we didn't know if we wanted to greenlight this.
If your initial is I don't know, just go with no. Just go with no, because holy crap.
And like,
what? So they literally were like, Nani kore.
Kisama.
Nani desu ka? Is that a giant lizard with some spikes on its back? Is that all it really is?
Oh my
that
goodness.
Is brilliant and yet so American.
So
there you go.
They get this
and
movie.
I bet they did come back the next day.
How do we salvage this? Yep, that's it. How do we salvage this? You can't.
Oh my
You can't.
God.
So they, come to whatever deal. TriStar gets the rights to it. They essentially give Emmerich and his team 1 year to production and post-production. They essentially give them 1 year because they want it to be out by Memorial Day, because Jurassic Park Lost World made a bunch of money the year before. So they gave him essentially 1 year for production and post-production.
Oh my God.
To do all of that.
That explains
They
a lot.
also had Mario Man. I don't even know the guy's name. I don't care, honestly.
Mario guy. Yeah, he's the Mario guy. It's a me, Mario.
He made a large animatronic that they could use for shots. And then they also developed a suit. They had raptor suits. Like most of the raptors are actually people in suits. I don't know if you knew that from Jurassic Park. Yeah. So they designed a similar suit for Godzilla. So that they could get the shots that they needed. But for whatever reason, they scrapped that because they didn't like how it looked and just went for the full CG.
So you're telling me that there's a suit for Zilla somewhere out there in the world?
There is a suit of a person inside of it that was designed and never used. I'm going to try and find a picture. I got it. I got a picture right here for you.
Need that in my life because one, I kind of want that suit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how. So I'm just copy this into the Discord here. If you want to check us out, there's a link to the Discord in the show notes. You can check out all of this stuff there. So this is the suit they designed. I will switch the page over in a second if I can figure out where my mouse went.
Oh, I actually like this, man. Look at that.
Yeah, like it looks okay. It looks solid. I don't know where my mouse went. What the hell is happening?
I don't know. You ate it and went to the Shadow Realms. Chilling with Bakura for. Give it a second.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I found it. Anyway, so this is the suit. This is the suit that they made. Obviously, there's a guy inside of it, very similar to the Raptor suits from Jurassic Park, and they just never used it. They decided, meh.
I like that he's actually, he can't posture up really. Like he has to be in that inclined posture. It's really dope.
I hope there's an actual support for his back though, because I'm sure this would be a nightmare to run around in.
Isn't that guy holding him up though?
Yeah,
there's another dude who's like literally
just
holding him up.
Yeah. So this was the suit they made. This is what they started with before they decided to go full CG.
Such a shame.
Such a shame because that CG is not great.
No, and the tracking was so bad, and I never realized how bad it was. Like the cars move before he gets to them. It gets sketchy. Like my favorite part of that movie has always been when Hank Azaria is about to get crushed. And he slips right in between the toes, and then it lifts his foot and then keeps going. That moment has forever been cemented in my mind as my favorite part of that movie because I would have probably responded the same way. But the leading up to that, you see how bad the cars are not adjusted to either continuity or the tracking. Yeah. So it's just like I'm like, God, that's ruined forever for me now.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how just awful it is. And half of the actors in that show are in The Simpsons, and they're voice actors for The Simpsons.
Yeah. I know two of them for sure.
Yeah, Hank is one of them.
Hank Azaria played a bunch of them.
That's right.
And the mayor, the newscaster guy, he's another one. Yep. And that whole plot line, oh my God, they could have cut out the mayor, the newscaster, even Hank Azaria. Like they could have cut out half this cast.
They could have cut out half this movie, and it would have been more tolerable because it would have been half an hour long.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, would have been what it should have been.
So, yeah, and then when it comes to the actual box office, once this released, it did not great.
Really? Yeah,
it was not received well.
They marketed the hell out of it.
They marketed
everywhere.
The ever-loving hell out of this movie. There was Taco Bell deals. There was toy lines. There was all kinds of stuff. And
do you remember Toys R Us was like completely barraged with the figures, with the ones that you could control, the puppet hands, like everywhere.
All the scientists had like rocket launchers and grappling hooks.
We need bigger guns.
Matthew Broderick had like a big shoulder launcher.
for reasons it had worms in it.
Yeah, like it's a jar of worms. That's what it fires.
It's just a jar of worms.
And so the suit actor for Godzilla goes to the premiere of this movie during the Heisei era. The Heisei suit actor goes to the premiere of this movie, and he walks out.
Perfect.
He literally said, "That is not Godzilla."
No, because nothing about it was. But we Americans didn't probably know much about anything at that point. So we ate this shit up, but apparently it bombed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it didn't do so hot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it didn't do great. Yes, and so eventually this led to the cancellation of the trilogy because they would have spent more money and not made a whole lot. And also they would have to keep renewing the rights every year to keep using Godzilla with Toho. They just decided not to. It's fine. I don't know if you remember the Taco Bell commercial. Do you remember the Taco Bell commercial?
I remember two of them. I remember one with the dog. Mm-hmm. That's the one we're talking about?
Yep, that's the one we're talking about.
Looking up at Big G. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need a bigger box.
That poor dog, man. I remember the specific, like every toy commercial was always ending in, "We need bigger guns." And that promo stuck in my head because I always wanted that toy, that soldier dude. Yep. And I never found him.
It's not a thing.
I know.
He's not real.
No, I bet that's O'Neill, the one useless soldier who's always like got this perplexed, lost look in his face.
It's actually just Sagata from the Street Fighter movie.
That's true. Yeah.
Or whatever his name is. What the hell's his name? I don't remember his name. It's the one that they created a character from because they didn't want to do Fei Long.
Crap, I forget. Whatever. Okay.
But yeah, that's essentially the backstory to Godzilla 98.
Wait, no, you said there was a trilogy. I didn't know there was supposed to be.
There was supposed to be a trilogy. That's why at the end of the movie, where obviously there's going to be spoilers. This movie is now almost 20 years old, so I'm just going to spoil the hell out of it at this point. At the end of the movie, one of the babies survives, which we can get into why I say one. One of the babies survives and breaks out and that kind of thing. It was supposed to be a sequel, involving that one. And instead of the trilogy, we got the animated series. The animated series is that baby Godzilla grown up and going around and being a badass. That show's actually kind of good. Like, that show's way better than the movie.
That show is good. Like, that show is
they do what we wanted, right? Like, they do Mechagodzilla. They do a whole bunch of, like, Rogues Gallery kind of thing. They do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah. They do what people wanted from the movie, and that's why it's good. And like, that Godzilla isn't an awful design, right? Like, I don't think it's an awful design. Zilla is not a terrible design when it comes to the grand scheme. But he's not Godzilla. Yes, he's not Godzilla, but it's not a terrible design either.
Right. It's a kaiju that is respectable. It's a respectable kaiju.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind if it had a different name, but yeah. I get what you're saying. I never watched it beyond like maybe an episode or two, so that's why I don't recall much about it.
I didn't know
when you talk about a Godzilla show. I remember a cartoon way back, where the guy would summon it with the button.
That's the Hanna-Barbera cartoon I was talking about.
Right. So the Hanna-Barbera one
with Godzuki.
Poor Godzuki. Poor us for
Godzilla.
For having Godzuki.
Yeah.
All right. But no, I do know that this cartoon is supposed to be respectable. But again, the sequel plot was pretty good for this. But I guess the show is something that I'm going to revisit.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I'm going to revisit that.
Yeah. So I didn't know this. Peacemaker's mentioning that the Mechagodzilla in the show is the original one, but a cyborg. I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool because that harkens back to obviously the original Mechagodzilla.
They took the body. Nice.
Kind of cool.
Oh, they went dark. They went dark with a kid show? Nice.
Yeah, no, that show's pretty crazy. There's like some blood and stuff too.
Legit?
Yeah,
all right,
legit.
I'm down. And
so this movie would strain the relationship with Toho so much we wouldn't see another one until 2014 when Legendary Pictures Godzilla came out.
So
and
98
they may have been slightly salty when they made Final War still, because Godzilla has a moment where him and Zilla meet up and he punks the shit out of Zilla in 48 seconds. That is how long the clip is. 48 seconds, and there's some kind of like Sum 41 playing in the background. It's amazing. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyright stricken, but it's crazy.
It's a tail swipe too, right? It's a tail swipe, and then
so
he blasts
Zilla
him,
literally jumps, and then Godzilla tail swipes him, and then Atomic Breath the what's the big hall in Sydney?
The Sydney the palace thing.
Yeah, the three arch.
When you think of Sydney, that first thing that pops in your head, that.
Yeah, and then he just blows it up. So that's the end of that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's 48 seconds.
That's
how long Godzilla lasts in Final Wars.
And it's fair, like you said. They're not salty. They're just repaying the level of respect we gave to them.
No, they're salty. They're straight up salty. They're salty. So, but obviously, if I'm not going to get too much into 2014 because I think we talked about it before, but we've talked about it a few times. If not, I don't know if we did a full episode on it, but that was a reboot. That was very much the respect I think Toho wanted of their property. 98 was not, because Roland Emmerich sucks.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think we want to get into the plot again, but essentially,
let's do it. Let's talk about the actual movie. That's all the stuff around the movie.
You have a vanilla of the most vanilla characters in Matthew Broderick, where nothing about him is either remarkable or couldn't be done by any. He doesn't do anything other than occasionally be at the right place at the right time.
White meat baby face. That's what he is.
He is literally that. I cannot tolerate how bad this movie was now. I don't think I could ever watch it again now that I've given it another shot because of how bad it is, bro. Like, all right. So anyway, we have the creation of the Godzilla. He starts attacking random boats and stuff, and then he makes landfall. And then suddenly people are freaking out because this footprint arrives in the middle of nowhere, and they're testing it. And Jean Reno's secret character from the French government or something like that, I don't know, he finds this Japanese survivor, and he's like, "What did you see, old man?" And he's lighting a flashlight in front of his face, a lighter in front of his face, because that's hypnotism. I bought that. I'm like, yeah, okay, that works. Anyway, so they're doing this investigation, and they decide that this seismologist worm guy is the right dude,
of course,
that they need.
Of course.
I still don't quite know how they work that, but it's cool that the first thing we see him do is like electrify some worms. He sticks a rod in the ground or something. I don't know.
And he just forces them up somehow. I don't.
His savvy is what they need, because they go and study this giant footprint and reasons that lead them to understand that this footprint is of a creature that they need to follow, and then it shows up in New York, and then they go, fuck, we gotta go to New York, and then they up and go to New York, and nothing really happens because we don't really see Godzilla for like almost an hour.
Well, yeah, so that's a big thing with this movie. The original movie, you didn't see Godzilla more than like 10 minutes maybe. And I feel like they wanted to do that because it's not because it's in respect to the old movie. I feel like he wanted to do that because it's artsy and cool. He wanted to invoke that Jaws thing, right? That's what he wanted to invoke.
I don't know. I didn't like the idea that we're waiting so long just to see the big G, and then when the first thing we see is this horrible CG rising face. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell from the first pull that it's not good. Nope. It's so not good. Like, 1 year. It makes so much sense now because there's no life in the animation, and that's kind of the hardest thing. Like, even when the close-ups, they did a bunch of close-ups. Now, were those close-ups practical, or were those CG too?
They were all CG.
Holy crap! Because there's no life in any of it.
Yeah, like the practicals. Like the practicals would only be the little suits, like the little dinos. Those are actual like animatronics.
Okay. Yeah, no, because anyway, so you see the big head and he coming out of the water, and that's when he finally makes landfall. The response of everything kind of seems like, how do you not see this 50, 60 foot lizard? You know what I mean? Like, how do you not?
How does it hide in a like? And again, this is also the smallest and possibly weakest Godzilla we've ever had.
True.
So it is a little more understandable that it can get lost in New York, but I feel like you put a helicopter high enough, the thing is big enough, you're gonna goddamn see it.
Even underground, there's enough bums that are gonna be freaking out. You know what I mean? There's people are gonna see this thing like, no matter where it goes.
Don't even get me started on that. Peacemaker is saying the thing, it's very similar to the Power Rangers CG, but people still love that movie. I hated the CG in that. I think those things at the end look awful. And it's yes, it is the same energy.
Same tracking thing, dude. The Power Rangers movie where they're like, oh, it's over here.
Yeah, and you got the weird like Mecha Ivan ooze and all that nonsense. It was bad.
But it's that level of unrefined CG anytime we see Godzilla that it's always dark when we see him.
Yep.
So they do it on purpose, so there's no daylight just to blend it in better.
Yeah, but it's also not dark enough to like hide anything, which is the weird part. Like it's almost like they went with the dark blue kind of darkness, and he's almost like black or purple. So he's still like, you still see him, and it looks like a CG thing is clearly on like a green screen in a CG environment when they do like CG New York.
Like the wave looked more rendered than he did. You know what I mean? Like it was that bad.
Oh, Peacemaker meant the newer Power Rangers. I liked it in the newer Power Rangers because I think the rest of the movie was interesting enough to hold it until we saw the Power Rangers. The Godzilla movie is not interesting enough to hold my attention to not have Godzilla. So yeah,
and we knew what we were getting with the Power Rangers movie. Like we knew eventually that suit was gonna look that fucking dope.
And I'm not saying that it didn't need more in suit. It definitely absolutely needed a lot more, like an extra 10-15 minutes of in suit. What's up, Major? How you doing, dude?
Legit.
It was fine because the rest of the movie was better to me than this was. So
yeah,
that's my take on that.
No, but I get what you're saying. But no, you're right, Peacemaker. It's definitely like a technique. It's just if it's not done right and you don't build up to it enough, and then if your CG is
and that Roland Emmerich,
like, didn't he also do Beowulf? He did that. Beowulf,
did he?
right?
I don't even know. That movie was.
Anyway.
I forgot that movie existed. Honestly, that movie is terrible. But yeah, like it once he shows up, he literally spends the rest of the movie running around.
They're chasing him the whole movie, and they trap him a couple times with these clever ideas that Matthew Broderick's character comes up with because reasons. I mean, legitimately, he's literally just like, well, why don't we give it fish? And then they lay a trap with fish, and it doesn't work because they need bigger guns. You know, it's just like, why put all the logistics into a fish plan when you can do better?
One of the biggest issues the producers had apparently was that it wasn't like a force of nature. Like it was scared of the missiles. It was, this is also the biggest issue that the suit actor had. I apologize, I don't remember his name from the Heisei era.
Right.
He was like, Godzilla wouldn't run from missiles. He's a force of nature. This thing is an animal. Like that was the disrespect he saw in it. Like it's literally an animal. It's a tuna eating iguana. That's literally what it is. And they went like animalistic with it, which could again have a purpose, but they just did it so poorly that it just didn't work.
Right. It was not Godzilla. It's a kaiju. It's a kaiju. But even under the idea that it's a kaiju, you know what I mean? They went with this fish plot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it gets away. Big freaking mystery, that one, you know what I mean? Who would have thought it would get away? Like,
is the Hudson even like deep enough for a creature like that to jump into it?
and you have to suspend, because what do they reveal? That if after another stupid plan and a stupid love story, and they end up at Madison Square Garden.
Yep, that's the plan, because they figure out that's where it's nesting. Madison Square Garden, the most popular sports event probably in America. They figure out it's nesting there. No one knew it was there.
Nobody noticed.
Nobody knew it was there.
I mean, not to mention that there's been a giant lizard running around your city for 3 days, but no, nobody happened to notice that that particular spot is where it came back to those 3 days.
Yep. This was clearly a Wednesday when there was no sporting events whatsoever.
Right. So,
I'm just saying, basketball has 1 million games a year. There's got to be something there.
And then they get chased throughout the whole thing. So I will say that of the entire movie, the sequence of the Madison Square Garden with the Little Zillas is the most entertaining, because I really was. I mean, obviously I saw it from before, but you weren't sure that any of them were really going to make it out of that, and I was really kind of like hoping that maybe in some twisted reality, I can change this and they'll get offed one by one.
That part was interesting because it had, speaking of Jurassic Park, it had that like Raptor and Jurassic Park tension and energy.
Oh, it was heavily that, and it's heavily just because that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my head that
it was definitely worse. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it had that same kind of energy. That's what made it the most entertaining. Godzilla is asexual in this one, so it could reproduce by itself.
Oh yeah,
apparently.
He's pregnant. That's right. Yeah,
it's pregnant the whole time. It lays dozens and dozens and dozens of eggs. So they're running through Madison Square Garden with like hundreds of these little Godzillas chasing after them, right? And they're like, oh my God, we can't let a single one of these escape because we'll have another Godzilla on our hands, which clearly this thing barely did anything. It went through like one building. I feel like that was the most it really did in this movie. But it went through one building and we blew up another one. Like I feel like the military did more damage than actual Godzilla. But
definitely.
It was like, we can't let it escape because this could be a whole new, animal that we're not the apex predators anymore. Our dominance is feeling threatened, this, that, and the other. So they come up with a plan to blow it up. So they're trying to set charges, I believe, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're setting bombs all over Madison Square.
Yeah, and they're trying to do it before the eggs hatch.
They're trying to carpet bomb everything. They're trying to do this fire carpet bomb. Right. And then Matthew Broderick is like, no, do it here because this is where it's at.
Yeah.
And then they have to like get out of the building before the bombs fall.
Right.
And John Renault's like, follow me. I'm going to French this up. And that's all they do. They just run through the building, survive because plot. Everything blows up comedically. Yeah. Like there's that whole wave where they just get pushed, and it's just like, it's so bad. And all it does is it pisses off Mama Daddy Godzilla. And then there's the final chase scene on the bridge.
Yeah. And
that's it.
It gets stuck in a suspension bridge and they blow it up a few times. That's pretty much what happens.
They shoot it with these
Major just hit us with 45 bits. My man, I appreciate you as always. Thank you for so much for hanging out. All of you guys, thanks for hanging out. Let me just get through some of this chat here as well. Major was saying that, when he was a kid, he would put on the Power Ranger outfits and ask his mom to call him Billy or Tommy. And I think we triggered Peacemaker with the Beowulf thing. So,
okay.
He also says he's sure that the babies aren't bulletproof, so it's fine. Yeah, no, they're fine.
Yeah, no, they're okay. They're definitely.
They're still really squishy.
So, like, legit, I had a ninja outfit, and I kept the mask and the sword from it for like almost 3 years because how obsessed I was with constantly wearing it at home. Like, you couldn't get me to chill without having this shit on. Like, so I get it.
That was yesterday. That wasn't a bunch of years ago.
I just took it off yesterday. It's actually right here. There we go. But I mean, legit, like I was obsessed with this ninja outfit I had on for like one Halloween year, and I just rocked it forever.
Yeah, like, so again, back to the movie. It's just like,
yeah.
No, I appreciate you sharing that though, Major. That's funny. Yeah, I think we all did that at one point or another, honestly.
Yeah, bro. Legit.
But yeah, it gets caught on a suspension bridge, and they just nuke the hell out. Not even nuke. They just fire some regular missiles, like Tomahawk missiles, into this thing.
No, it's a bunch of guys in the planes, and they're showing rubber bands. The ones with the
slingshot,
the freaking slingshot. That's all they're doing to it. Because that's literally all it takes to kill this thing.
Yeah,
like they landed 4 clean shots, and it's done. Like, come on.
Yep. So at the end, like I said, after all this, that Godzilla's dead, supposedly, but we find out one baby's still alive. That leads into the animated series. There is one thing, though, in that chase sequence I want to ask you about and get your opinion, because I very firmly stand my ground with this one.
The fire breath?
Does Godzilla have a fire?
No.
It's not an atomic breath, clearly, but does he have a fire breath?
No. This Godzilla does not have a fire fire breath.
Thank
and
you.
I refuse to accept that.
Yes.
No, it
Thank
took
you.
simple advantage of a cracked hose, and maybe there was some kind of spark from the cars,
Yep.
but there was no fire breath
It
in that.
yelled real
bastard.
loud down that alleyway, and some things exploded. That is all that happened, and I will die
Yep.
on that hill. I refuse.
That or all the-
It does. The baby does have it in the animated show. It does have actual atomic breath. But Zilla in the movie does not. I refuse to accept it.
No, there's no other instance of that circumstantial moment. Like legit, no. There's too many elements in that, and why wouldn't it use it when it was being chased by the helicopters? You know what I mean? Like no.
I will die on the hill.
hit
It
the
does not have it.
helicopter.
Animated series, different Godzilla. That's fine. It can have it. This Zilla
Evolution.
98 does not have it.
No. Fair enough.
I will die on that hill.
We're dying together on it, damn it.
Oh my goodness.
No.
Yeah.
But no.
All in all, this movie, honestly, I have to say I appreciated it more watching it as an adult for how bad it is.
Yes.
Because I don't think it all registered when I was younger. I was just kind of like, ooh, big monster. There you go. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. We were excited because it was Godzilla, and it was a different Godzilla, but it still had the roar.
It still had the roar, kind of. And part of me,
Yeah.
honestly, still got that feeling. Part of me was like, oh, this is Godzilla. I'm here for it. Like, there's that little nugget, that little fire that just never goes out, no matter what iteration. It could be the anime trilogy. It could be Singularity. It could be this nonsense. I mean, sorry. It could be anything that may or may not be great. I am still going to love it to some degree because it's simply Godzilla.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm definitely always down to try it. Like, even when we hate it, we're still just like, okay, it's still Godzilla, but not. But okay, you know, like, I like the nostalgia that I had for this movie.
Yes.
Will I ever watch it again? Nope.
Unless I get really drunk first.
But I definitely will buy a figure of it, and I definitely want that suit.
It's a kind of cool design. Like, I will give it that. It's a kind of cool design. It's just like, it's kind of like the DMC for Devil May Cry. It's like, oh, this is a cool game. It's not Devil May Cry, but it's a cool game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Same energy,
Dante,
same kind of
so-
thing. It's like, oh, this is, like I said, the animated series. I think I am going to watch it. It's probably on YouTube. We can probably find it.
Yeah, we should check it out. I
Yeah,
think we will.
like it. What I've seen was really cool. What I hear is it's really cool. So, I mean, if it takes a similar design and just makes it good, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
So.
I think it came out in the same era as those other like grittier shows, like the Real Ghostbusters and all those guys. Like,
Yeah, it was definitely in the. I mean, this came out in '98, so it would have been the early 2000s, probably '99, 2000. So
that's dope. No, that was a good era.
Yeah,
Oh man, nostalgia all over the place. For
I
this
remember I
movie.
had a Game Boy game of this too. It was the Game Boy, the animated series Game Boy game, and it was a rail shooter.
I buy it. Okay.
Yeah, so you're just Godzilla walking forward. That's all you're doing. You can aim its head and fire like an atomic blast, but you can also like tail swipe lower stuff.
So when you say it's a Game Boy game, did it play like one of those tigers where it was just like a panel?
Yeah, it was. No, when I say Game Boy game, I'm talking like old green and black screen Game Boy, not advanced, not SP, not DS. I am talking legitimate gray Game Boy, and it is just him. Doop doop doop. Doop, and you can blah 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 in 3 different directions, and then you could also it might have been 2, it might have just been forward and up, but then you can do a tail swipe or a stomp. I forget which one it was. You had a lower attack.
Makes sense.
And it was to hit like the tanks, and you know you could hit monsters because eventually you did square up with some of the monsters from the series. But that's all it was. You just walking forward.
I dig it. Okay. 75 levels of just that.
Yeah, I don't know. I got bored after like 2, so I was like, I'm done here. Done with this. Imagine if Gradius was Godzilla. That's essentially what it was.
I used to play those tiger games. Like there was achievements to unlock. Like I would just fucking sit there and pound them out.
Like it did anything other than press 2 buttons.
That's it. That was the one, the baseball one. I used to. Oh my god! I'm gonna get like 100 points on this. No, never.
Lord, what a time to be alive. The good old days.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's all the nostalgia factor of what made this movie great for us. But I mean, comparatively, actually, now I think about it, the 2014 was more of a disappointment than this one was to me.
Really?
Now that I think about it. Yeah, I mean, the Godzilla at least looked more like Godzilla, but the story was just as
I
disappointing.
mean, neither of them had a story, to be fair. So
that's my point. That's just it. I mean, you had the Muto fight, so that'll put it above, way beyond.
Yeah, puking in a Muto's mouth will literally top just about any bad thing I can say about that movie. So
I'm giving you that, but in terms of impact, at the moment, probably the same as that Hank Azaria foot stomp. I'm just saying.
I mean, Hank Azaria foot stomps like here. Puking in the mouth like here. I mean, they're pretty close.
Right there, bro.
Right?
That's
like,
all it is for me. Yeah.
Mo freaking out is okay, I guess.
I
oh my goodness. What are your final thoughts on this ridiculous ass movie?
We're gonna watch the show now.
Yes.
And then we're gonna
That's
get
the only thought. It has nothing to do with the movie. We're gonna watch the show now.
We're gonna watch the show now that we had to power through this. It's like muscling past the gag reflex. We're good. Now we mastered it.
It'll be great. It'll be great. So that's Godzilla 98. It is available on Netflix currently. If you have Netflix, you can watch it on there. That's where we watched it. So check it out. I got nothing left for that one, honestly. I've said all I need to say. My peace has been made. I will never visit this movie again. I put the tombstone in the grave. It's good. It's dead.
We're doing the tail whip and the atomic breath on it.
That's it. Oh my goodness. And like the only one left I think that I need to put a cap on is rewatching the anime trilogy. That's the only thing I need to put a cap on, and I don't want to do it because that was so much more painful than this movie was.
Anime trilogy.
There's a Netflix anime trilogy.
Oh, you mean the one with Godzilla the giant,
Earth, the giant plant, and Mecha Godzilla City. Yep, that's how I feel about it. But the content, you're right, Peacemaker. You can bet your butt we're gonna watch them.
Oh yeah, I mean we will, just because we love you guys. but
I hate those movies. Hate is a very strong word. If I had to pick one thing I could just delete from Godzilla's franchise, it would be that trilogy. Damn. I genuinely don't like those movies, and I will muscle through them for you guys.
Let's do it. That's the deal. Then we'll do both. We'll do the animated series one week, and then we'll do the trilogy the next.
Oh my goodness! It's
gonna
lordy.
Be fun.
Yeah, get ready for all kinds of heavy-handed theology.
have your emergency contacts ready because our eyes are going to be bleeding and our hemorrhage. We're going to hemorrhage through our brains.
We're going to get on my face. It'll literally just be melted.
I'm sorry, guys. I tried.
Oh my god! You know what the worst part is, though? I'm pretty sure that movie is written. Those movies are written by Uroboshi, who does Gaim and Knights of Sidonia.
That's probably when he's like, well, it's Knights of Sidonia's first inkling of that trippiness. So yeah, probably. Yeah, you could get where he gets all meta.
Yeah. Peacemaker apparently has a, speaking of terrible things, Peacemaker has a copy of Summon Ride coming in tomorrow, and they're going to stream it. I will definitely check that out, Peacemaker. Do you remember that game?
No.
We've been talking about it because we checked out Kamen Rider Kabuto this week. I can talk about that in a minute. But we checked out Kamen Rider Kabuto this week because I think you would actually enjoy that a lot. And we got into talking about just Kamen Rider games in general. And the one year we went to Otakon where we had to push your ass around, there was a Skylanders Kamen Rider game. Do you remember that game?
Oh my god.
You had to put the toys on the portal, and it was literally Skylanders, but Kamen Rider.
Wasn't it like $500 that they wanted for it?
It was something ridiculous. And for a system like we didn't have. But it's called Summon Ride. Peacemaker has a copy coming. And apparently, I didn't know this part, it got the worst game of the year in Japan.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Please let me know.
We were blown away.
Yeah. That is amazing. And I love it. And I want to check it out.
Okay. Whenever you let me know, because I got to see this. I got to see it too.
I got you, Peacemaker. We're bringing the crew. We're coming.
Link us in because I got to see it too.
Yeah.
But I remember that, bro. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, because it was a box that had Wizard and Drive.
Yeah, and we were like, bro, maybe if we bought it together. No, it was still like almost like $600 or something.
We were like, can we split this? Do we want to split this? We were like, we'd rather just buy belts. Like, neither of us are going to be able to play this, really.
I remember that, though. Holy crap.
Yep.
Son of a gun.
So that's
good shit.
That's Summon Ride. But yeah, we checked out Kamen Rider Kabuto on PS2 this week. Which I forgot to completely mention when we were talking about what we did this week. It is... You know, I said it on the stream. There's a video going around the FGC of Kabuto and Gattack, I think I sent it to you or you sent it to me, one of those two.
Yeah, I sent it to you where they're doing crazy
their crazy dash cancels and all that kind of stuff and clock up. So we checked that game out. That game is surprisingly legit.
Really?
Yes. I was
As a fighter? As a fighter.
As a 3D like arena fighter, think like it's the same kind of setup as, do you remember the Beast Wars Transmetals game?
Vaguely.
Same kind of thing. You're in like an arena that can be up to 4v4 and you're like running around in 3D movement kind of thing.
So Power Stone meets...
Sort of. Yes, Power Stone's a good example, actually. Same kind of thing. Camera's a little closer, like characters a little bigger on screen, but same idea. There's 4 people running around an isometric angle kind of thing. And some characters like the Worms, you get 3 of them. There's the Zex Soldiers, you get 3 of them. That kind of thing. This game was so much fun.
Oh, shit.
Just to find the... final attacks, their finishers, just to do all that kind of stuff. And you can even cast off if you're a rider, like you start in the casted on version.
All right.
And you basically build up meter. There's 2 different meters. You have your clock up meter and then your cast off meter. Or if you're a worm, you can molt. You start off as the green worms all the time.
Right.
And then you can molt into one of the, the boss monsters.
The super ones. Yeah.
But if you're a rider, you start casted on no matter which one it is. It could be obviously other than punch hopper and kick hopper. They didn't like make casted on forms for them. No. But you start in casted. You have a move set there, and then you can cast off and you get faster. You just get faster. You can sprint around and do slide tackles and stuff and all kinds of things. You get slightly different moves. Dope. They're pretty much the same, but you get slightly different moves. There's grabs. There's all kinds of stuff. There's block cancels. There's dash cancels. Every time you cast off, it goes into a cinematic. And if you skip it, in the story mode, if you do a regular match, it literally is like a burst in Guilty Gear. It just throws everyone away from you.
Yes, that's dope.
It was so sick.
Dope.
And then you get the finisher, right? So you're running around a clock up, depending on who it is. Let's just use Kabuto, for example, because he's the poster boy. And
why not?
When you're mashing, your circle, I think, was the standard attack. You can hit 1, 2, triangle, 1. Hit it again. No. He keeps going with the combo. 2.
No,
keeps going with the combo. 3. Rider kick. You can keep going with the combo. You have to hit it a 3rd time, and he goes rider kick and slaps it. It was the hypest thing ever. I was so blown away at how crazy it was.
I need to play this game.
It's so good.
Oh my god. I gotta play it, dude.
It was so cool.
It sounds so much fun.
Yeah, and then like Gattack's in there, and then you could also unlock Hyper Gattack and Hyper Kabuto, which is kind of cool. When they do their thing, they start in their regular casted off form.
I see.
And then you hit it and you hyper clock up and they turn into their hyper form. But to make it extra unfair, when you hyper clock up, if someone's clocked up, you move really slow, just like you would if in regular clock up, right? So if you want to counter that, you have to clock up too, and then you start moving at regular speed, but like the screen still has their like crazy clock up blur effect going on.
Okay.
If they hyper clock up, you barely move, just like in hyper clock up. You barely move. Like there's no like holding block and hoping you get there fast enough.
Yeah.
You get that. You move like you would if you were normal and someone was clocked up. In hyper clock up, if you clock up. So there's no hope if they hyper clock up.
You're done.
You're done. You're done. So some of the bosses, the boss is the Caucasus, the gold guy from the movie, who only hyper clocks up.
Oh, Caucasus. Oh,
Caucasus. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, God.
Only hyper clocks up because that's his thing. Yeah. So you are using standard Kabuto. You don't have hyper Kabuto because he doesn't have hyper Kabuto in that movie. So it's you and Gattack versus him, and he can hyper clock up, beat the piss out of you, and then do his finisher, and you can literally do nothing even if you clock up to try and counter it.
So they made him an SNK boss?
And when you do that finisher, it does about 60% damage.
Oh, wow. Yeah?
No, it's fine.
So he is an SNK boss. Completely.
Yeah. It's great. Great. I love it.
SNK boss with the Mortal Kombat damage ratio. I love it.
It's insane. That game was so much more fun. I honestly had a backup game going just in case we got bored on stream to be like, okay, we're going to throw this in. We'll play some of this too. I had so much fun. I was like, wait, do one more, guys. We got to do one more round.
We got to do one more round, guys. Okay, just one more round, please. Yeah. Please.
It was so much. I will just say, Sword has an OTG.
You had me as a sword, bro.
It's a sword. Does his thing. So his rider
sword.
slash that he does is an OTG. You can knock them down, hit it, and he does a big down slash. It bounces them up into his final shot. It's so cool. So cool.
Sword was what I was hoping with. Sword. As long as you give me sword.
Yeah, you can have sword and you can have his worm form as well. You can play as both.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay.
You don't like hyper clock up into the worm form. The worm form starts as just a regular worm, but you can play as his worm form.
That's twisted, but I like it.
So, if someone gets a PS2 or a Japanese PS2 or happens to find a Japanese PS2 on their computer, you can certainly play this game, and it is fantastic. The next one we are going to check out is the Blade game, which I may have turned on for a few minutes. And
I'm sorry, I slept. What was that? You said you were playing a different game?
Yeah, I was playing. I decided we're going to check out this week. We're going to check out the Blade PS2 game.
All right. So how does that one?
Normally I would be mad. That's kind of the energy it has. So let me just say, yes and no. So obviously, it's no secret I am a fan of Blade.
Is it a card game? Because it has to be a card game.
Yes and no.
Are you serious?
So it is 2v2 as opposed to this one, which was like an arena fighter. It's 2v2. Okay. It's literally one person here, one on each side. Okay. You have a switch cards button so you can shuffle through your deck.
Okay.
When you go through story mode, you accumulate more, just like he does in the show. So you start off with lightning and slash, I believe. I could be wrong with that. Either way, you start off with two of them. And you can activate them when you have them. Cool. You basically have a standard combo, your standard 4 or 5 hit combo. And then you can activate the card. It does a special move of some kind. And then you just round robin the cards. The models don't look awful. They look like a PS2 game would. I expect nothing more from a PS2 game, honestly.
Okay.
But the kicker is
oh boy.
The environments are not rendered. They are not like done up kind of like versions of wherever they are. They're literally a pixelated JPEG screenshotted from the show.
You're fucking kidding me.
I am not kidding you in the slightest. So when they're on the classic dam, it's literally just the long way of the dam screenshotted, hyper pixelated, and these two models kind of standing what may or may not be the plane that it's on.
That's amazing.
I was like, I should have started with this one. We are.
Now you're just dropping right. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, poor Blade. Well, I mean, it was earlier in the PS2.
It was 2004. I mean, they had 3 years to figure it out, I guess.
It's not like.
But you can play as Taiki Master Ultimate Form.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Wait, I gotta see this crap, man. I gotta see it.
Yeah. It's the
card.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a card battle system. I'm assuming like that Kingdom Hearts game that came out, like where you can only attack using the cards.
Yes and no. So you have a standard sword attack. That's Taiki Master.
Oh,
I just put it in the Discord, and I'll pull it up here for everyone else.
Oh, that guy.
Yep.
Oh, that dude's in it. Oh shit.
Yep. I'll change the screen here. So what you do is you can move left and right. You can block. I haven't figured out if block is a button or if you're holding back. I really don't know. I genuinely can't figure it out. And then you have a jump and you have an attack button, like a standard attack button.
Okay.
So you have a usual like slash, 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 slash. Like you can just do that over and over again. It's like a 4-hit combo. You can keep doing that. But you also have the card button, which is essentially your special move button. So you hit whatever card's up. You hit it, it'll do like the punch that he can do, like the electric punch. It can do it'll just zap him with electricity. It'll do slash, just does like a quick sword combo. It's like a 1-up, 1-2 kind of thing. Okay. That sort of thing. And then eventually I played enough to where I was getting 2 cards when I round robin through the cards. You can slash 2 at a time. And then that's when he does his like lightning sonic, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, that's when you actually do
when you get the finishers and stuff like that. And you get a little cinematic with it when he does multiple cards. Okay. So
it has the potential to be amusing, but definitely
it's
not.
Definitely amusing, and it may not be amusing in the way that they intended it to be.
That's unfortunate.
I genuinely cannot describe these backgrounds. I have to find a screenshot because I can't describe it well enough.
I am not sorry that your Blade game is that bad.
I am not either, honestly. It is magical and beautiful, and I would have it no other way. Oh, this is a perfect example, actually.
Oh boy. Oh,
yep.
This I gotta see.
So I'm going to paste this in the Discord again, but I will bring it up on the screen if you are watching live. Give me a second. So this is a perfect example of what this game looks like. Oh, that's a YouTube video. Don't now play that. Thank you.
Look at that.
That is literally a screenshot of JPEG.
Oh, that's bad.
Mm-hmm. They
didn't even bother, like, why is it so far?
I don't know. Every stage looks like this. There's just a crazy horizon on it.
Why? Like, I mean, I get why, but why?
I couldn't tell you, but you can see at the top right above their head. This is also the most basic UI in the world. Right above their head is where it shows the card, and that's how you roll through them. It shows you what card you're going to play, and then that's Blade. That's it. There's no running around. There's no nothing else. This is it. So I think there's a versus mode that kind of makes it like a fighting game, but it is definitely not to the level of the Kabuto game.
I am so excited to see how that plays.
I am very excited to play into this game and see what happens when I get like King form and Jack form and all that kind of stuff. Because you can actually choose right out the gate. You can choose Kenzaki, Tachibana, and Chalice. I forget his name. Chalice. You can choose those three right out the gate to play as in like their adventure mode, and then you can unlock Liangle, and then like Peacemaker said, you can unlock Taiyaki as like playable story modes. That
is amazing.
It is definitely something.
Well, good luck. I hope it's a fruitful endeavor. I think
it will be
King form, and it's every bit as powerful as it's probably not going to be.
Oh yeah, I am thoroughly expecting to be disappointed.
When you get the King form, unless he does that first punch and the other guy explodes, like it's just not going to be good. I'm sorry.
I'm just hoping the dual sword like showdown thing that he does, the combo. I just hope that's legit. That's the only thing I need. I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it won't be. But I think we're going to spend at least one stream a week checking out some of these PS2 Kamen Rider games, or just some of the Kamen Rider games in general, because they're kind of fun. We did check out the old Godzilla fighters, tied into the episode. We checked out the old Godzilla fighters, the Pipeworks ones, like Godzilla Save the Earth and Destroy All Monsters Melee.
I did like the Melee one.
Yeah. So those are fantastic. Those are fun as hell. We had some fun with those a few weeks back. So we're going to keep checking out some Toku games, I think. So imagine a game where if they did like a versus game where you fought against Godzilla as Mega Godzilla and it was just a suit, you know what I mean? Like a giant cockpit type of thing that they usually do. Oh, like you pilot it sort of thing, like a VR pilot?
Yeah, that would be
kind of cool. Do you remember the Gundam battle pods? Do you remember those things?
Yeah. Like I remember my boy was heavy into Steel Battalion and he had this entire rig. Yep. Like that is on my holy grails of video game things that I want to get before I die. Just this entire freaking
desk it's rig, like as long as my desk. It has foot pedals, and then the switches actually all do something, and you have to do it properly to power up the mech and everything.
It was trippy to watch him play because the game didn't look as great as it looked complicated. Like it was like, holy crap, he has to move everything just to turn it a slight bit to fire. Yep.
Mark still has his rig apparently. Mark.
Serious.
If I end up at your place, I'm taking it.
Yeah, send a picture of it, Mark. I got to see this thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
send it out on Twitter. Tag us on Twitter. I would love to see that thing.
I see these rigs, and I'm like, I keep this image in my head where I would love an arcade again that could focus on those kind of big ass consoles. Like that kind of thing would be so dope. Because I know I probably would die quickly, but I would have a lot of fun trying to figure that shit out.
One plan on the docket for more YouTube content, which I'm working on currently, to just put more stuff on the more like essay style videos. And one of the things I want to do is just explore radical controllers like that. And then I'm not going to get too into this because this could be a whole other podcast, but I don't know specifically for you. Do you remember the Onimusha 3 sword controller?
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Swing, but you also had to like control it by just holding it, but it was the most awkward layout of buttons ever.
And the Resident Evil chainsaw controller.
The Resident Evil chainsaw was a thing. There's also the slime controller that they've actually kept around for all these years for Dragon's Quest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it is crazy. And I want to do a video on just ridiculous game controllers.
All right.
Because they need to bring it back. They need to bring back stupid, ridiculous collectible game controllers.
Like just the niche shit. Holy crap, man! I remember the like with the Blade. Wasn't that with the Blade? Did that come out with 3 or the Blade Warriors game that came out? Because that wasn't okay. It was 3. I remember that Blade Warriors game came out, and I was using that for that game.
Yeah. Mark said he never saw the Onimusha one, so I'm going to pull that up real quick. Yeah, it is crazy. And
it's so odd.
It's very odd. The button placement and everything is so strange. This is it. Here, you can see there's all kinds of crazy, ridiculous things on it. It's crazy. I want it. It's wild. It's made by Hori, so I would assume it would be decent, but it doesn't. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's cool. It's different. I want to make a video on that stuff, so stay tuned to the YouTube channel, Kaiju Carl on YouTube. You can check it out there. I have another video coming out I am editing currently about Destroya. More on that as I get more on it. So, yeah. And that was pretty much, that was the last thing I really wanted to mention about what I did this week. But we were going to try a new segment, quote unquote, where we kind of spotlight a toku that caught our eye that we've never seen before. And, if you guys in the chat, feel free to chime in with yours as well. We're going to give you one each, kind of tell each other about it. And then, just honestly, the idea is just explore more toku. That's really the main idea behind this. It doesn't have to be kind of crazy. It's not a super in-depth review or anything like that. We have not seen them yet, but the idea is we just, hey, this looks kind of cool. Maybe you'd be interested. That's the idea. Mm-hmm. So, do you have yours prepared, my good sir?
Sir, I have my first one, sir. Okay. So one of my biggest wants for my toku education is to really get into Ultraman respectfully. And other than Ultraman Orb, I haven't really consumed too much of it. Like, I know them, but if you line them up, I legitimately couldn't point them out with confidence. But the one that I do know and I hear a lot about that I'm going to try to give a shot is Ultraman Mebius, however you pronounce it. Mebius, I real quick, I'm reading this here. He's the protagonist of the eponymous Ultraman Mebius. He was sent to Earth 25 years after Ultraman 80, which is a pretty classic one, to protect the planet from a new wave of monsters and aliens, many of which arrived due to alien Impera's resurgence. During this tenure on Earth, he took the form of Mirai Hibino, and he joined the crew Guys. Or I thought it was Guts. Or is it Guys?
Guts, I think, is the normal one. I don't know. Guts isn't Trigger.
Anyway,
that.
Yeah, but I'm interested in Mebius because I've heard enough of it from the conversations of all the tokus that we've ever been over. Like, people do tend to bring Mebius up a lot, and I've never given it a definite shot. So okay. I'm definitely going to check this one out. What about you?
I dig it. Yeah, this was kind of cool. Just scrolling through some pictures on the screen here if you guys are watching. Did it get an English dub? I don't know. This looks kind of familiar. Maybe that's why. This might have been when it was on like 4Kids. They might have gotten an English dub for this one.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But my pick for this, highlight thing is Dogengers. Dogenger is an indie toku, and from what I've seen, if anyone has seen the GIF or clip of a guy spending like 45 seconds to try and do his finisher, where he like puts a card in, slaps to something else, puts it onto something else, that's Dogenter.
Really?
Yes. I think this show looks hilarious, and I saw that clip and I was like, what is this? I am very intrigued. Now there's all kinds of like super sassy characters that got involved, and a lot of the suits just look really cool. So I am thoroughly intrigued on what's going on in this show. Let me pull this up real quick.
And it's a pretty new series, I'm seeing.
Yeah, like, so there's a new season coming out soon. Okay. And yeah, like everything I've seen and heard about it is just kind of like, this is cool. You should check it out. So
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check this out. And I like these suits a lot. I did see also, yes, Cutie Honey the Live is out officially on Discotech.
Cutie Honey? Oh, wow.
Cutie Honey's live, yeah. So you can get that now. on wherever you get your DVDs. So
there was one that I tagged you in earlier on Twitter. I hadn't gotten a chance to delve into it, but the suit design itself looked pretty damn good. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick before we change subjects. But it looked like another indie suit, like this guy created it on his own. Okay. See, I forget what he called it. But we were just talking about, this subject, and I was legitimately like, oh crap, like check this guy out. And I'm trying to find it, but it was a dope design. It was like this guy who designed his own kind of hero. Okay. And I had sent you the link, I thought, but holy crap, now I can't find it. Either way, man. But I'm all about the unique ones, like the low production ones. Here. There you go. Cool.
So yeah, this is kind of like, it almost has like a what are the dudes from Wizards? The like putty people from Wizards. Kind of like that vibe to it.
Yeah, but it also has like this alien teeth thing going on. It's kind of like a revised teeth look. I don't know. It was interesting because I was just scrolling, and because Big Brother's always listening, it kind of just was like, hey, is this the stuff you're talking about? And I'm like, yeah, that's actually it. Thanks.
It. Oh boy. Yeah, so Dogengers is on my list. I want to check it out. It looks pretty sick. Suits look fantastic, and it clearly has some kind of comedy moment to it.
That's fine, man. I dig that stuff.
Yeah.
Like Abada Ranger, or something like that.
Abba Ranger? Yeah. Abba Ranger is, I've seen that one before. That one is a classic
parody, right?
Yeah. And then became an official Sentai, and then, the main character is freaking out and stuff, and yeah. The show kind of honestly lost me when his waifu became his like battleizer.
Got it.
Yeah.
So why don't we commit to at least checking out the first episodes of these things, and then next time we touch back, we do that.
Mark says we can pretend that we never saw Guyver and do another review episode about it.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. Round 3 with Guyver. Let's do this.
Let's do it again, bro. I'm okay with it.
It's fine. We'll go back to the first one. That was episode 17. We're changed men at this point.
Was it really that long ago? Are you serious? Holy crap.
Episode 17 of Tokudon. That was back in early 2020.
It was 84 years.
Yeah. We reviewed the first live action Guyver, and then 2 weeks ago now, we reviewed the second Guyver movie. So if you want to have any interest in Guyver, I am a huge fan of Guyver. Mark is also a huge fan of Guyver. That's why he brings it up.
I'll take credit for changing your life again, so you're welcome. Yeah, no problem.
Peacemaker says they've always wanted to see what the live action Sailor Moon series is like. I agree with that. I would be interested to check that out. I've been seeing a lot of clips. I don't know if it's like a new project was announced or if it's getting a physical like Cutie Honey, but I've been seeing a lot of clips of that too.
It's something that we have. It's definitely not in the brand that we usually check out. But
no, I'd be down to check it out though.
Why not?
I mean, I've never seen the original anime other than outside episodes like here and there because I was waiting for Gundam Wing to come on or G Gundam.
You mean you're not part of the Tuxedo Mask clan? You're not one of us, man?
I might be. I have no idea. So I don't know. I don't know who Tuxedo Mask is. So
that's even worse. Tuxedo Mask is like
saving people by moonlight. You know what I'm saying?
Moonlight Night, yeah.
Yeah, Moonlight Night. There you go. I know there's words to one of those songs. There you go. Yeah, so that's what we want to do. We just kind of wanted to pick one that interested us and kind of shout it out. And if you guys have one, go nuts.
Because I definitely want to check out that live action Sailor Moon. That's so different. I'm so interested.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I remember it coming out a while ago, and I seeing it on the Nihon TV Nihon.
Yeah, like that, and then
Cutie Honey, I believe, was on there too.
The other one, the one that Sogo did recently, or is doing
Para
now.
Hero?
Yeah, Para Hero. I want to check that one out.
Over? Don't quote me on that, but I think it's on like 6 episodes. I think it's over though.
Really? Is it a short one? That's fine.
It's a mini series. I'm pretty sure.
Even better than
So
crank that out.
Check that out too. It was 3 episodes. There you go. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, 3. I see, bro.
Para Hero was really good. Good. I will have to check it out. So for the news, we got a couple things that happened. Nothing too crazy. They did announce the newest Ultraman. Let's see here.
Already?
Yeah. Ultraman Chronicle D is the newest Ultraman.
D.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's the name of it.
So this will be the 25th anniversary of Ultraman Dyna, sequel to the groundbreaking Heisei show Ultraman Tiga, which triggers it.
So are they embracing this whole continuing story thing? Is this going to be a thing now?
I guess. I don't know if like every season. It's not a new show. It's just a recap show. Okay. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know, Chronicle D. If it's going over the history, maybe I'll just watch that instead of trying to watch all these seasons.
I mean, it would make things easier because I am interested in Mebius, but I don't know if I'm prepared for 97 graphics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll see. It's going to recap different parts of Ultra history. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. I'm down for that. I still got to watch Ultra Galaxy Fight. That one interests me a lot. I just like the designs of the Absolutions a lot. So I am down for that. Did you know that Decade isn't pink?
Magenta.
He is magenta because Masahiro Inoue is making his own pink tokusatsu project.
Like legit?
Yeah. So he is adamant that Decade is magenta, not pink. And now he's creating a tokusatsu called Pink.
I see.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, if did they legitimately kill off Decade? Is that I think that's the official death.
I mean, I'm sure he'll come back in some capacity at one point or another.
No, I'm excited because now he can actually focus on something else and not be in everything.
Yeah. So they got a couple writers from Garo actually writing this series because he's probably best buddies with all of them now. And it'll actually have other Kamen Rider actors apparently, including Toshiki Kashu from Agito and Satoshi Matsuda from Ryuki making appearances.
Nice.
He came back in Senki in suit form. That doesn't surprise me because that was kind of the lineup of everything. I got to watch Senki. Everyone's all about that this week.
The V Cinema?
Yeah, there's an actual movie that came out. That's the one where I think he gets the Zenkai suit. Is that one?
Oh.
Where Saber gets the Zenkai suit?
Is that the one or where he fights his father?
I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Thing. I'm confused. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it got subbed
the
this
V Cinemas are like all over the place.
Yeah, everyone's all about it. So we'll see.
Okay.
He did an interview with GGE channel, and I guess that's part of the news too. It got subbed this week. Senki got subbed.
Nice. Okay, so
yeah,
makes sense now. Yeah.
And then
we'll check it out.
So yeah, he's developing his own tokusatsu. So I mean, keep an eye out for it. The image they have, share the screen real quick. Actually looks pretty cool.
There's an image? Nice.
Yeah, I'll send you the article on Discord here. The picture, I don't know if it's concept art or just something that he like slapped up there as well. Looks pretty sick. So boop, boop.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Oh, it has heavy Jin vibes.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it a lot, actually. So
Magenta.
There's that. And then other than that,
I dig that. That'll be dope.
Looks like we got a new series that's kind of an indie toku that got greenlit. It's called Local Hero Avalon. Pretty sick looking suit. This is, let's see, where is this from? Indie tokusatsu production called Avalon, Night of the Round Table. It was released on Team TokuNet's holiday break. A new preview was also released on YouTube. So I will let this rock for a minute. Whoop. Turn that off. I will send you the article. I have seen this suit floating around Twitter. I have never actually known what it is, to be honest. But I am down for any indie toku. More indie toku. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. We got Power Rangers Unworthy. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. Fractured Grid. We got they got this thing going on. Immortal Red Fox. Looking pretty sick. Mm-hmm. I am down for more indie toku.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
This suit looks nice. This is a sick looking suit.
I want, yeah, man. More indie toku, dude. Like,
more indie toku.
Legit.
I'll make one day.
Look at that. Hey, we are making one, damn it.
We are.
We are.
It's going to be great.
It's awesome. It's fun. It's hard.
It's very cool to see, stuff like this, passion projects get greenlit and all this kind of stuff. This is very long. It's like 4 minutes long. I'm not going to play all that. It's very cool to see these passion projects get greenlit. They are near and dear to my heart as someone who went to film school, as did you. Seeing this kind of stuff and just people that have much more drive in doing that kind of thing than we do.
It's resources, man. It's resources. I'm convinced that from when I woke up this morning, the only thing I was doing was thinking of this damn plot, and it can't get any more serious than that, bro. Because I was like cracking. I'm like, nope, that doesn't work. No, that's crap. Like literally kicking my own ass over here.
Good.
But what I have,
Other than that, they announced some new Toku toys. They have the SH figure arts for Revi and Vice coming out. So keep an eye out for those if you're interested in some figure arts. And then they also have a new thing. It looks like a new interview with Shirakura talking about casting. If you want to check that out, that is over on the Tokusatsu Network. They have an article over there, and they interviewed him about casting. So very, very cool. Just don't tweet him and tell him about your bullshit, because no one wants to hear that. So
yeah, just say hi.
just leave him alone. That's all you got to do. Does he engage you? No? Then don't bother him. The only other thing is Strong Kobayashi also passed away, unfortunately. He's an actor. He's a Tokusatsu actor and professional wrestler. Yeah. So
it's always sad. It's always sad, guys. Rest in peace, sir.
Very cool. That's not cool that he died, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
other than that,
yeah,
I think that's the wrap.
That's pretty much the news, and that's pretty much all I had today. Yeah, we'll figure something out for next time. I don't know what we're doing yet, but
we have a lot to choose from, and I think I'm gonna go with let's pick that definite your guy, your selection for the
Dogengers.
Yeah,
you want to check out Dogengers? We can check out Dogengers.
Check out Dogengers.
I'm down for that. Let's check out Dogengers. So we'll check out Dogengers next episode. And in the meantime, I was actually on Mostly Speaking Sentai that dropped this week. You can catch me out over there. We were talking about Go-Go Man, or 5-Man. I'm sorry, I keep thinking Go-Go 5. We were talking about an episode of 5-Man, and that you can also find out who I take home on the Kaiju dating game as my bride-to-be. So
you guys are amazing.
It was a fun time. Mostly Speaking to James and Nicole. Those two are great. Very wild and fun to hang out with. So very cool. I was happy to be on there with them, and we're gonna get them on here eventually. We just got to link up schedules and stuff like that, and yeah, we'll eventually get them on. So
we'll get you guys. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. So go check that out. It is up on their page wherever you listen to podcasts. They also have what is it called? It's MLM Media, something like that.com. But it's on Spotify. It's on there. Mostly Speaking Sentai. Tokusatsu Net posts their podcast every week, so it's on there as well. And yeah, check that out. I am on there. In the meantime, you can follow me here, twitch.tv/KaijuCarl. You can also follow me on Twitter @KaijuCarl. And where can they see you?
You can catch me at 6echoes.se@gmail.com. If you guys want to email me, I can fill you in on all of the Kamen Rider Tokudon. I'm definitely still looking for people who want to be involved. If you want to just lend a voice, let me know, because we're definitely cranking this out sooner, because I am on a freaking roll, you guys. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So yeah, check me out here, Tokudon, or email me at 6echoes.se@gmail.com.
Very cool. Very cool. If you guys did not know, our Patreon is more active again. For only $2, you can head over there, get early access to the video version of this that is coming up. It's patreon.com/Tokudon. Only $2, you get early access. It'll be out on Tuesday for patrons, and then the audio will be out on Tuesday as well. I'm not about locking content behind a paywall.
Yeah, that's not how it goes here.
Nope. But you get early access, and if not, the video versions will be up on Fridays, so you get a few days early. Check it out. And yeah.